Good morning, students. Welcome back. So, in today's class, we will start with your second module of HR analytics, that is HR analytical frameworks. So, in this module, we will be studying about current approaches to measuring HR, strategic HR metrics versus benchmarking, HR scorecards and workforce scorecards, and how they are different from HR analytics, HR maturity framework from level 1 to level 5, and HR analytical frameworks, which is LAM framework, HCM 21 framework, and Talentship framework. We will also study about 5 components of an effective analytical framework. So now that we are hearing this term framework so much, it's important to understand what is a framework. See, in business, if I talk about HR framework, it is a strategic design of organization which will help you. It provides a boundary to administer and coordinate your HR functions such that they are useful to business. So this is about HR frameworks. So now we'll get into today's topic, the approaches for HR evaluation. So there are many approaches for HR evaluation. So what is HR evaluation? HR evaluation is evaluation of HR processes in terms of effectiveness, efficiency, and its impact on the business. So among those approaches, we will be studying about audit approach, analytical approach, qualitative and quantitative approach, balanced scorecard perspective, and benchmarking. So the first one is audit approach. So just like your financial audit, here also they verify the HR process which are in practice. They will compare it with the compliance regulations of the state or of the land, and they will check it in terms of its effectiveness, efficiency, and its impact on business. And just like your financial audit, here also people are free to audit the subject that they are auditing. There is no compulsion or there is no pressure from anybody. They can do their work freely here. And just like financial audit, here also the data is gathered, it is presented in systematical manner, and it is analyzed. So here also all the HR activities, policies, and systems are evaluated against the standards or against the regulations or compliance of the state. And this audit approach has a proper objective and purpose of why it is being audited and what is the end result expected. And once the audit is completed, the findings are presented, and the HR managers can take necessary action against each of these findings. So why audit approach is beneficial? First, every organization, they have their HR processes, but they never really evaluate or never really understand how effective or efficient these processes are. So it's always better to audit and see where there is a lacuna or where there are chances to improve, or you can say opportunities to improvise these processes. That's why this HR audit, it provides data for HR managers to see where the processes are lacking and which processes can be improved. And also it will clarify the duties and responsibilities of each HR function or process that is being carried out in the organization, and how these functions will affect the overall objective of the organization. And through audit, you can come across any critical problems which are present in your human resource processes. And like I said, it will help you to align your HR strategy with organization strategy, because if your strategies are not in alignment with each other, then it will be waste of resources or it will be waste of time in the end. And it will help you reduce the cost, and it will help you improve your HR processes or human resource information system, if any, present in the organization. That's why periodical auditing of your HR process is very important and necessary for improvement, or you can say to reduce the wastage or any kind of redundancy in your HR processes. The next approach is analytical approach. So what happens in this approach is Here everything is analyzed with respect to cost and benefit. That is, all the data that is measured is expressed in terms of economy, or you can say it is expressed in economic terms. So if I'm investing so much in HR processes, what is the profit derived by the organization in the end? So there are several HR activities which are evaluated using this cost benefit analysis, right from your hiring to training to the turnover, cost per hire, and cost per turnover, and your appraisal system. So everything is expressed in terms of monetary benefit to the organization here. So but what happens is there are few things, sorry about that. So there are few things which cannot be measured in terms of money. So if you're training someone for their soft skills or just their ethical behavior or on ethics or social behavior, so you cannot really quantify these things into economic or monetary terms. So that is one drawback of analytical approach, because human resource processes are not just about hiring or compensation, but it's also about managing people. So there are certain things which you cannot quantify in terms of economic or monetary terms. So that is where analytical approach has a disadvantage, but still it is widely used whenever you want to see cost benefit analysis of your processes, especially your hiring process and training and development processes. And the next approach is qualitative and quantitative indices. See, there are a number of metrics which will tell you, or which will measure and analyze and give you the data about your HR processes, whether it is doing well or which is not doing well. You can quantify it, but there are few things, like I said, cannot be quantified. They are qualitative in nature. So how to capture this data? So this becomes difficult. So rather than quantifying everything, it is also important to focus on those things where quality needs to be improvised. Let's take an example of a retail store. Okay, so there is a salesperson in retail store. So what happens is, when you go to a retail store, the way that salesperson communicates with the customer, or how he deals with the customer, that will help increase your customer base or that customer loyalty. The customer will keep coming back to you if he is happy with the behavior of that salesperson who's there in the retail store. If he behaves nicely, if he helps him gets the things he wants, he'll be happy and he might come back again. If he's not happy, if that person is rude with him and he doesn't show any interest in helping the customer, and customer feels annoyed, then he does not return to your store. So if the behavior is good, more customer will stay loyal to your company, and that will increase your profit. If the behavior is not good, then it will cut down on your customer base. So how can you quantify these things? So here the customer salesperson's behavior is affecting the customer behavior, and indirectly it is affecting your profits. So there are things which cannot be quantified, but the quality of these things have to be improvised in order to make profits. And the next approach is balanced scorecard. I need not say much about this. We have already studied this in our previous semesters. So what is balanced scorecard? Balanced scorecard, it contains 4 different dimensions of an organization, like its financial performance of an organization, its customer service, its internal business process, and its capacity to learn and achieve and grow. So financial dimension, it reflects on the organization's activities which will contribute to its short-term or long-term financial performance. And your customer service, it will measure things such as how customers view the organization, and how whether customers are satisfied with the products or services your organization is providing, and how well you are or how good your organization is with respect to retaining the customers. And the next one is business process indicators. So, or its internal business processes. This focuses mainly on production and operating statistics of the organization, or let's say order fulfillment, etc. So it focuses on the internal processes. And the last one, that is capacity to learn, achieve and grow. So this is pertaining to your human resource and its potential to learn and grow. So how well you manage your human capital, so that well you can progress, or your organization can progress. Like I always say, an organization is only as good as its people. So if you develop your people, then you will indirectly or directly develop your organization. So these are all the approaches that can be used to measure the or evaluate your HR. There is one more process that is called benchmarking, which is very important. So benchmarking, what happens here basically is employees are made to learn and adopt so-called best practices that are present in the market or out there in the business world. So what happens is employees are made to compare best practices, or not compare, I can say, to adapt best practices which are being implemented in other organizations, or you can say your competitors, whether these people are your direct competitors or not, or they may be in different industries altogether. If any organization is practicing these best methods or techniques of HR practices, then you will try to collect the data of these companies, compare your company's processes with them, and try to see where you're lacking and where there is a chance for improvement. So it is a sequential process. We will see about these steps which are involved in benchmarking. So basically it is about adapting best practices which are adopted by your competitors or not, that is other organization, and trying to compare them with your own organization practices and see what is lacking or what can be improvised. So here are the steps that are involved in benchmarking. So first of all, identify which HR practice you want to benchmark. Not necessary that all the HR practices or HR functions or activities of the organization needs benchmarking. An organization must be doing pretty well in few of the practices. It might have already adopted best practices. So first analyze which is that process or activity that you want to improvise or you want to benchmark, and with that perspective then constitute a team which will handle this entire benchmarking process, right from collecting data, right from selecting the organization with whom you want to benchmark, to analyzing it and generating report. So find one project team, core project team for benchmarking process. Then you start looking for the organization who have got best practices in this particular HR practice, either recruitment or training and development or compensation benefit, whichever HR process you want to benchmark. So try and find out organization who are doing well with respect to these practices. Then collect data and don't select any one company. Don't just look up to one company. Always have 2-3 different organizations so that you can study better, you can understand better. And collect data from these benchmarked organization, analyze it, see what suits your organization, what doesn't suit your organization, what do you think can be improvised from your own recruiting process or training and development or compensation process, and try to generate report on things which are lacking and things that can be improved. And then the last step is to develop action plans according to this report and make strategy. And this benchmarking, it will work well only in the long run. For short term, just for 1 or 2 years, if you're adopting these practices, then suddenly you're expecting wonderful results out of it. It doesn't work that way. So benchmarking is always done for long term. And so whenever you're benchmarking the process, keep it in mind that you do not change it every now and then. Once it is changed, the process, and whenever you benchmark your processes, definitely there will be a change which will be required, because you are comparing your data to others and you're trying to improvise your processes. So definitely it will change the course of action, and people in the organization should be ready for that change to implement the upcoming changes also. So it is a long term objective. So benchmarking is not recommended for a short term change or for experimenting with processes. So that is about benchmarking. And so that's about the approaches, various approaches present for evaluating your HR processes. Thank you.